Hello and welcome back to our subject, Computer Organization and Architecture. Our lesson for today is about the von Neumann architecture. Okay, so this one here is pronounced as Neumann, not Newman. So what is von Neumann architecture? So in 1945, mathematician named John von Neumann undertook a study of computation that demonstrated that a computer could have a simple fixed structure yet be able to execute any kind of computation given properly programmed control without the need for hardware modification. So if you notice that in our history of computers, there were some modifications which were introduced, but because of von Neumann's architecture, this what they call these changes was at least reduced because of this architecture. Now, von Neumann contributed a new understanding, okay, of how practical fast computers should be organized and built. This idea, often referred to as the stored program technique, became fundamentals for future generations of high-speed computers and were universally adopted. So even now, the von Neumann architecture is being used by most of our, or even all of the existing computers. Now, von Neumann architecture, therefore, is a design model for a stored program digital computers that uses a processing unit and a single separate storage structure, which is now called your memory. No? The processing unit is now called your central processing unit. Now, this storage structure holds both instructions and data. Unlike in the old type of computer, there is no storage structure there or memories, no, that can store instructions or programs and your data. Okay, so that is what is von Neumann architecture. It introduces the stored program digital computer, which uses separate storage for your instructions and data to be stored. And it also uses the so-called processing unit, which is now called your central processing unit. So what we have here is the von Neumann architecture diagram. So this is very familiar to you. So we have the different parts of the diagram. We have the input device here. You have the central processing unit. This one. The central processing unit comprises of your control unit, your arithmetic logic unit, and of course, the registers inside your central processing unit. All right. Then we have the output device, and of course, the memory or the storage device, which is your memory. Okay. So let's have a simple discussion on the different functions of the different parts of your von Neumann architecture. So of course, the input device here is used to input data using, for example, your keyboard, your mouse, and etc. Then you have here your central processing unit, okay, which contains your control unit. Your control unit is the one that decodes and provide instructions to the different areas of your computer for the data to be transmitted. So in other words, the control unit is the one that controls the transmission of data from one area of your computer to another area of your computer. Then we have here the arithmetic logic unit, or ALU. This is the one that performs the operations, logical and arithmetic operations, no? For example, addition, subtraction, and so on. Then we have here the different registers inside your central processing unit, no? What are these registers? You have your memory address register, no? So we have already introduced this in our previous discussion. So memory address register is the one that temporarily stores the address of a particular register. Then we have here your MDR, or memory data register. It is where the data are to be stored before it is being transmitted into your memory, right? Then you have your PC, or we call it the program counter. The program counter provides addresses into your memory address register. So it's the one that provides the PC, or the program counter is the one that provides address into your memory address register. Then you have your accumulator register. The accumulator register stores temporarily the data or the result of the arithmetic logic unit. So whatever the arithmetic logic unit performs, the result of which will be temporarily stored into your accumulator, and this accumulator will provide your MDR with this particular data, no? Kanang yung result gikan sa arithmetic logic unit. And then through your MAR and MDR, this data or programs can now be transmitted towards your memory. Example of which is your random access memory or your read-only memories. Okay, we know that data coming from your MDR will be stored into your memory under your data. If it is a program or instruction, then it will be stored into your program. Okay? Then, later on, after the data is being stored into your memory, the control unit will provide instruction again to your accumulator, and the output of the data coming from your accumulator will be fetched by your control unit and will be transmitted towards your output device. No? So example, if you want to add 5 plus 5, for example, okay, now this 5 plus 5 was being inputted using your input device, like for example your keyboard. Now this 5 plus 5 will be fetched by your control unit, and then your control unit will decode this 5 plus 5 and convert it into the so-called binary language. No? When you say binary language, it deals with 0 or 1 because that is the only language that your computer understands. Now, your control unit will now transmit or provide instruction into your arithmetic logic unit. Okay? Now, since the operation is 5 plus 5, the operation is addition, then the arithmetic logic unit will perform addition operation in your 5 plus 5 instruction. Okay? Then, the result of your arithmetic logic unit, as we know, your arithmetic logic unit contains the so-called binary or a logic circuit that can add, subtract, multiply, or divide a particular number. Now, your arithmetic logic, the result of your arithmetic logic unit will now then be temporarily stored into your accumulator. Alright? Then, your program counter now will provide an address into your memory address register. Okay? Now, for example, the program counter provides your memory address register with address 0000, 4-bit lang usa. Okay? That address coming from your program counter, as I've said, will be transmitted to your MAR. And then the MAR will give instruction or will transmit the data 0000, which is your address, into your memory. And we know that memory contains billions and billions of registers. For example, if your memory contains, or your memory is an 8 gig memory, random access memory, that means that it can store 8 billion characters. And we need also 8 billion registers to store that 8 billion characters. Okay? Now, since the address here provided by your program counter into your memory address register, the memory address register will now open up register R sub 0, which is being addressed by 0000. When you say 0000, the decimal equivalent of which is 0, and therefore it is calling up or opening up register R sub 0. Right? So open na ang register R sub 0. So coming from your accumulator, the result of your arithmetic logic operation will be stored temporarily again in your accumulator. The accumulator will then transfer that into your memory data register, or the accumulator will provide this data into your MDR or memory data register. This memory data register will now be transmitted into your data here. Okay? Unsa maasa man siya musulod sa imong memory? Under sa data, what particular address? What particular register? Register R sub 0, which is being addressed by your memory address register. So, na-open na itong register R sub 0, the data from your MDR will now be transmitted or be stored into your register R sub 0. The content now of your R sub 0 is the result of your arithmetic logic unit operation. Then, your control unit will again fetch the data from your accumulator, and then the control unit will now provide this data into your output device, such as your monitor. No? The monitor will now give you the result of adding 5 plus 5, no? Which is now equal to 10. So this 10 here in binary form is temporarily stored into your accumulator. And then this 10 in binary form will be transmitted into your MDR and will be stored into your memory under register R sub 0. Now, the control unit again will fetch the data, which is 10, in binary form. Okay? And then it will be transmitted into your output device. Ngano mo gawas man ang 10 sa imuhang monitor? Since from accumulator, it is in the binary form. Once it is fetched by your control unit, it will have to be decoded again into its decimal equivalent That is why what will be found inside or in the output part of your computer, which is your monitor for that matter, is now in decimal form, which is 10. Okay, so that is how the von Neumann architecture diagram operates. So the von Neumann architecture consists of a single shared memory for programs and data, which is this one here. This one, right? And the von Neumann processor operates fetching and execution of cycles seriously. Then we have here the modified von Neumann architecture, adding a bus system. So in our previous discussion, we said that we have a control unit that transmits data into your arithmetic logic unit, for example, into your output device and so on. So the control unit actually, or the instruction coming from your control unit is actually passes through your control bus. Okay, this one here. So tanan nga mga instruction or decoded value from your control unit passes through your control bus. Okay? Then the address which is being transmitted by your program counter to your memory address register passes through this particular address bus. Okay? The data and the program will pass through this data bus going into your memory. Okay? So this is why we call this the system bus. So again, unsa nang system bus? Mo ni siya katong mga wires inside your computer. Even katong mga katubitang mga nasa imuhang motherboard, no? Na naay mga linya-linya dito nga copper, that is still called the system bus. Okay, now what is the non-von Neumann models? So there are different types of non-von Neumann models. One is the neural network or neural networks. Neural networks uses ideas from models of the brain as a computing paradigm. So neural networks is based on how the brain works. Okay? So wala pa gyud kay siya ma-develop, but there is already a study on this, and some of which are now being utilized in some applications, especially in computing other computations based on brain computing paradigm. No? Then you have the genetic algorithms, exploiting ideas from biology and DNA evolution. So that is why we call this genetic algorithm because of the word DNA. No? So when you say genetic, it deals with DNA. No? So genetic algorithms, DNA is actually a DNA evolution. No? Computations or algorithms based on DNA evolutions. Then we have the quantum computation. This one. The quantum computation uses quantum mechanics. So, murag physics po niya, no? It uses quantum mechanics to solve computational problems. It computes exponentially faster than any previously used methods and will revolutionize the way in which we define computational problems. So, very fast if you use quantum computation. It uses 1 0 at the same time. no? That is why there are still cases wherein it provides an error message from your using your quantum computation. Okay, so the other one is the parallel computing. So what is parallel computing? It is currently the most popular. It uses multiple processors, just like in your computer, existing computer now, or even in your cell phones. Okay? It uses, for example, if you have an octa-core computer processor or a cell phone, that means that it uses 8 processors. So we call it already multiple processors. No? If you have 10 core, it uses 10 processors and so on. So that is parallel computing. Instead of using one processor, just like the von Neumann architecture, it uses only one processor. Now, we're using the parallel computing method. We are now using multiple processors. In 1999, IBM announced the construction of a supercomputer called the Blue Gene, which contains over 1 million processors, each with its own dedicated memory. So just imagine, no? 1 million processors working together to process data. So that is how fast the computer is. So just imagine, that was developed in 1999 pa lang. So unsa na lang karon nga time, no? 2021 na ta. So what kind of computer is already being developed by IBM or other companies that deals with the construction of computers?